Control freaks. Sometimes I hear men say, oh my gosh, these women, they're just such control freaks. They don't want a man who works a lot of hours. They don't want a man who has a lot of friends. They don't want a man who does this, that, and the other because they just want to control that man. And I've always found that to be very interesting. Now, of course, there are probably people of any gender who have control issues and want to control people. But I just want to kind of mention something. So, I am a reader and I've read so many books, especially a lot of books about marriage, relationships, and a lot of biographies about women and autobiographies of women, especially married women. And if you go back, let's say prior to the 1970s, and you read biographies, the further back you get in time, there just becomes a pattern. A lot of women that write biographies and or have biographies written about them, they write autobiographies or memoirs. There's a theme. There's a saying that quiet women never make history. So there's a theme in these women's lives a lot of times that when they were growing up, people couldn't control them. People couldn't silence them. People couldn't, um, make them conform. And so the theory was in a lot of these women's lives that their parents, their community, their church just needed to marry them off to the right man, a man that could control them, handle them. I'm actually thinking about Queen Victoria, you know, and her mother, and even her mother's mother, and just the whole dynamic with royalty and other women of means, and just women, like I said, historical women, where there's this thought that, okay, her father couldn't control her the way he wanted to, her uncle couldn't control her, maybe even her advisors couldn't control her. But if we get her married, that man is going to have complete access to her. He's going to be able to physically abuse her if he wants, schmexually abuse her if he wants, impregnate her, and that's going to slow her down. That's going to confine her because she's not going to be able to move freely. She's going to have, this child now that she has to think about and take care of, and that's going to slow her down. That's going to control her. And even today, you kind of see that there are men, especially in the red pill community, that they want to trap women with babies, and baby trapping goes a lot more from men to women than it does from women to men, because that whole idea of this is going to control her, this child is going to give me access to her, is going to slow her down, is going to, make her put her dreams and on the back shelf and make her put her goals and her skills and her talents on the back shelf. It's going to humble her. I am going to be able to throw this in her face that either she's a baby mama or she has this many kids or she, whatever it is, it's going to be a control mechanism. And so it just really makes me think about the purpose of marriage, the purpose of relationships, and even the way that patriarchy has used motherhood to control women, to silence women, to shackle women, to humble women, and then has turned right around and tried to act like a victim. Like it's women who are doing all these things. It's women trying to shackle men. And, they're the old ball and chain. It's women trying to control men. It's women trying to take away men's voice. And now we can't say anything because, oh my gosh, we're going to be accused of this. We're going to be accused of that. But it's always been the other way. And it just kind of really makes a lot of things seem very insidious, very dark when you think about how love, money, trust, the desire for intimacy, the desire for partnership, the desire for marriage, the desire for children. All of these things have been leveraged against women many times as control mechanisms. And it's just really sad. So I think it's why women now are becoming a lot wiser, but also becoming a lot more cautious. And there are women who, after the overturning of Roe v. Wade, um, hysterectomies and tubal ligations, basically permanent sterility procedures, went up 30%. Abortions went up 10%, even though outlawed. They were outlawed in many states. So we see women saying, you know what? I'm not going to put myself in certain situations because I don't want my autonomy in jeopardy. I want to be able to make this choice, and I'm going to make it now before anyone takes that away from me. So just a few thoughts. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this audio. Please check out my podcast, Zenergy, Zennurgy. It's on 25 different streaming platforms. Please check out my books on Amazon. This is Zenashe, Zenase. That's 2 different words. And I'd love for you to like, share, subscribe, follow, and comment. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. May you walk in Zenergy. Control freaks.